Oh, you cannot do this to me. Not today. Will you stop it? Really? I have everything set up just the way I want it to go, and I come back, and all of a sudden, as I start this live stream, my computer goes, ugh. Hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. No, I am not just a picture. I am an actual person. There is somebody behind this gorgeous looking face. And welcome to Front Porch Brunch, our little live stream we do on the weekends where we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try and make sense out of this crazy thing we call life. We are on Rumble. We are on Twitter. We are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, please do us some favors. Folks, go out there, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're a regular here, hit the bell for notifications. We want to make sure that you're always aware of new videos and live streams that are coming out. Also, please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment in chat. It really does help. Do all those things. Go crazy. How are you doing this morning? And now, yeah, I'm looking very well because I'm. Yeah, I ought to look well because this picture of mine looks fantastic. Me, on the other hand, right now, I don't know what I look like. I have no. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm decent, Adam. I've got clothes on. I swear I do. All right, give me a second here. Let me step out. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay? Hang loose. Don't go anywhere. All right? Uh it's not me. It's the dead blame computer. I am not wearing a kimono. Oh my god, y'all are just awful. Hang on a minute. All right, hold on, folks. We're going to try one more thing. Again, don't go anywhere. No, TBA, I know how much you love dead air. I swear it's. Hang on. Don't go anywhere, guys. I promise I will be right back. See if I can straighten this thing out. Don't go anywhere. Back in just a second. Talk amongst yourselves, okay? All right, see you in a minute. All right, we're back. Good God. I'm too old for this. I am too old for this. I can't. I just can't anymore. This computer. All right. Okay, we're back. Woo! Thank God. Oh my word. Okay. All right. Let's start. All right. All right. One more thing, people. Give me a second here. You know no, they haven't gotten their hands on me yet. They don't have the goods on me either. Daggone it. Okay, we back. All right, this is good. All right. Yes, we are in business. Praise God. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Good God. I hate my computer. I genuinely hate my computer. I am dressed. I was dressed before I started this live stream. Thank you. Jeez. Oh, my word. Okay. All right. Hi. Hello. And how are you doing out there in internet land? Better than I am, apparently. Brian Trippett here, the Front Porch Conservative. Glad to have y'all in the house this morning. Oh, my God. What a day. Oh, my Lord. Okay. We're on Rumble. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Glad to have you guys here with us. All right. Let's see who is in the house this morning. I know WWG1 is here. Bless his heart. He's been popping in memes. Salty Old Fart is here. He's been popping in some memes. Let's see who else. TBA is here. T. Gagliotti is here. Okay, I think we got most everybody in the house, along with a few other folks. TBA said, you said we could talk amongst ourselves. Best we can come up with is Brian's not dressed jokes. Well, yeah, I kind of asked for it, I guess. The real joke is BT's computer skills. Oh, that is so unkind, sir. Yeah, and my computer's the joke. My skills are good. Bless my heart. Bless my heart indeed. All right, let's see. Who all is here on the YouTube side? Let's see. Good morning, Gypsy. Love you, darling. Z Highness is in the house representing the 199. I did not buy a Walmart special. I got it from Amazon. All right, who else is here this morning? Adam is here with his wonderful present and his memes. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you in the house. We as Kangs. Oh, we're going to get into this, brother. We're going to get into this. Let's see who all is here this morning. I'm smart. Not dumb like everybody says. I'm smart and I want respect. T. Gagliotti, I know where that line comes from, and it's from a great movie. And the fact that you're associating me with the actor in the film, I appreciate it. Oh, my gosh. All right, who else is here this morning? M169. Good morning, my dear. Let's see. Kawan is in the house this morning. All right, let's see. Trying to get everything through here. Is there anybody else I'm missing at this point? I don't think so. I think you got everybody. Ruben's in the house. Ruben, my brother. Fist bump. Good evening to you, sir. Have I got everybody? Oh, Robert, bless your heart. Oh, very thoughtful of you. Thank you, sir. God, yes, I need a PC fund. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yes, very considerate of him indeed. Okay. All right. Now that I've survived my morning computer issues. All right. Welcome, folks. We have a huge in honor of the president. By the way, Mr. President, if you happen to see this live stream, happy 79th birthday. Glad to see that your birthday falls on Flag Day. There's a certain amount of, wonderful historical irony in that fact. But, happy birthday, Mr. President. Good on you, sir. Good on you. No, they weren't shekels. They're American dollars, daggone it. But we'll take it anyway. Yes, we must celebrate the president's birthday. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly agree. All right. let's get down to business, as I know you guys are here to have some fun, as I am, assuming my computer holds up. Knock on wood. Anyway, glad to have y'all in the house this morning, and we will begin. We'll just dive right in because Lord knows we've had enough setup time on this live stream. We will begin, as is our wont, with the Merry Memes section of the program. And I tell you what, this thing is taking on a life of its own. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we have our normal suspects, WWG1, Adam, but now we got people like Salty Old Farts throwing in some memes. So yeah, I mean, glad to have the memes and the contributions. Always appreciated on this live stream. And you know what? I think Salty Old Fart found one that is truly, truly indicative of how you guys feel about your memes. I mean, for example, some of y'all have been trying to produce less memes, but then you found out your day became meaningless. So, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying there is so much truth in this statement. Very, very true. Very true indeed. All right. We thank Salty for that one. All right. What else we got quite a few memes this morning. Well, and we talk about memes and all of us, I mean, look, there's a lot we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about what's going on between Israel and Iran and, yes, the United States. We'll get into a lot of commentary about that. We're going to get into a commentary about Flag Day, the celebration of the U.S. Army, the we as Kangs. We want no Kangs, rallies around the country. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about. But in the midst of all that, we ought to remember that, it's not just about the present, but it's also about the future. It's about our kids. What are they thinking about? What are they focusing on? What things do they hope to grow up to be? And, when I found something that I think is pretty reflective of where our children are these days in terms of their hopes and their dreams and their aspirations. I mean, for example, some kids grow up dreaming to be authoritarians. So they can pass all the laws they want and give all the power that they can find to the government. But, sometimes those dreams just don't come true. I mean, when you get the wrong guy elected and then the laws and the powers are used against you. I mean, I think this one's a very important, understanding of, we ought to be very careful what we want our children to grow up to be, and we ought to be very careful about what dreams we give them to think about. So, I mean, I'm not saying, but, it is something for some consideration out there, just some food for thought, as it were. Yeah. Now, here I agree with this. Make Kang an alien from the Simpsons again. Oh my goodness. Lana says, I'd appreciate a populace that had a bit more intelligence, but I suppose that's asking for a bit too much these days. Yeah. Talking about that, I did something the other day that I haven't done in a long time. I sat down and I wrote someone a handwritten note in cursive. Now, to a lot of people watching this live stream right now, okay, that may not make that big. You say, well, okay, so you wrote a handwritten note in cursive, big deal. That's an art that's disappearing. They don't teach this stuff to kids anymore. So when you say, I wish we had a bit more intelligence, I wish we had a bit more skill. I really do. TBA says, is the note readable? Yes, the note is readable. The note is, well, I can't read it now. I don't have, it was a thank you note is what it was. I'll tell you what it was. It was a thank you note. I can't sort of go into the reason why yet, but Salty Old Fart says writing a note in cursive is still legal. Yes, it is still legal. Still legal. WWG1 says, well, the average IQ is 100. Half the people are below. Think about that. Ooh, that's a very disturbing thought. Yikes. They made me write in cursive in school, even owning the stencil. Okay. 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 Very good. Very good. I have to stop cursive when I have kids. Not cursing, cursive. Daggone it. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. Anyway. All right. Okay. Moving along. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, okay. Riddle me this. For all you smart people out there talking about how much intelligence you got or how much intelligence you wish people had. Can you start a sentence or let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Can you write a question using the word why? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's just see how clever you are. Well, apparently somebody beat you to it. You want to know how sophisticated they were? Take that. So there you go. There you go. Salty Old Fart says cursive, the only writing the military intelligence cannot interpret. You know, Salty, it would not surprise me at all if you were right about that. It really would not surprise me at all. TBA, I don't know if this came from a feisty fifth grader or not. I'm just saying. My gosh. But give him an A plus. Well, there you go. Let's see. Talking about my son wasn't taught to write in cursive, but somehow he knows how to read it. I write stuff in cursive on his whiteboard and test him to see if he can read it, and he can. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Oh, so Adam, you think the kid that came up with this one was Mensa material? You may be right. Well, I don't know why Adam thinks that the kid is Mensa material. I mean, Robert, you got to take up that discussion with him. I'm just here presenting memes, okay? Trying to bring some laughter to the situations. You and Adam go have that discussion. I'm just saying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness indeed. All right, hang on a minute. What else have we got? What else have we got in the way of the merry memes this morning? Oh, by the way, you know, a lot can be said for American business people, and Lord knows they will. They are some of the most clever people. I've always said American ingenuity will rule out above everything else. American business people are the smartest folks on this planet. And it's not because they can figure out new ways to make a dollar. And that's not necessarily what I'm getting at. The common sense of the American people shines through in everything, but especially when it comes to innovations in American business. And I tell you what, given what is going on out in Los Angeles these days and various other places around the country, business people have found a very creative way to protect themselves from, looting and arson and broken windows, etc. I mean, folks, from what I hear, Nike, Apple, and, various liquor stores are installing reversible signs. Let me look at this. Now think about it. If you are trying to loot somebody, okay, would you go for if you're a looter, would you go for a place try and loot a discount bookstore? I mean, seriously, this is a great idea. This is an absolutely great idea. I'll tell you, you gotta love the American people. You gotta love them. Oh my goodness indeed. I told you, smartest people on the planet. And you can see that through our American business folk. If you're smart enough to put in a reversible sign to not get, rioted, well, you deserve a lot of credit. I'm just saying. All right. What else do we have in the way of the merry memes? And again, for those of you just stopping by, before we get into the serious stuff, we try to have a little bit of levity, talking about, some of what's going on in the world and finding out about it through some of the best memes. Oh, speaking about finding out things. Okay, here's one that's going to test your guys' IQ. Okay, do me a favor, and if you would be so kind, please select all the squares with peaceful protesters. I'll give you guys a minute. Okay, if you need a minute on this one, take your time. No rush. We got plenty of time today. But if you wouldn't mind, please select all the squares that have peaceful protesters in them. Just saying. Okay. Everybody got their choices down? You feel good about that one? Okay. All right. I'm getting thumbs up through the audience. Okay. Everybody's got their, yeah. All you got to do on this one is just select the squares that have the peaceful protests. That's it. Yeah, all of the above. Yeah, CNN would probably say all of the above. You're probably right, Robert. I agree with you. I agree. Well, you guys are in a good mood this morning. I'll tell you what. TBA on Rumble says MSNBC told me all the squares were peaceful protesters. Well, apparently the folks at MSNBC and talked to the folks over at CNN. There you go. T. Gagliotti says, "Where's the bicycle?" I don't. Well, it ought to be in there, I guess. I don't know. Adam. Oh, for the love of God, man. For the love of God, Adam. How could you? How could you? Good Lord. Good. This audience, I tell you what, y'all are you're wrong in so many different ways. Oh, now, here's something a little more serious for you. Everybody's been trying to figure out for the longest time now, how these protesters are getting a hold of some of the things they're getting a hold of. I mean, for example, they're getting a hold of gas bionic masks. They're getting a hold of gas masks. They're getting a hold of bricks. How are they getting a hold of this stuff? Who's financing it? Well, we think that we have finally figured out where some of the bricks are coming from. And I'm just going to put this one up here for purposes of your guys' discussion, because just kind of the bricks might be coming from the basketball player here, who is because the joke is about a basketball player that shoots and makes a brick. And okay, we'll get rid of this one. Look, some jokes just don't land. Some of them just don't land. What are you gonna do? Okay, note to self, we won't be using that one again anytime soon. All right. What else do we have? Oh, by the way, in the way of scientific news, yeah, Robert, you're right. They just miss. You try, you do your best, you try to give it the best delivery you can, but it just right in the toilet. What can I tell you? So in the way of scientific news, it turns out that all that, the white smoke that you usually see when we know for sure that there's a new Holy Father on St. Peter's throne in the Vatican. Well, that white smoke is apparently used for more than just announcing a new pope's been selected. I mean, turns out scientists have discovered that when white smoke emanates from a chimney in Wuhan, that a new variant has been named. Who knew? What do you know? What do you know? Who'd have thunk it? Yeah. Wow. You know, T. Gagliotti going back to that meme about Brick says that joke was an airball. Whew, man, a rough crowd this morning. I tell you what. Mr. Scott Awesome is over on the Rumble side. Says, howdy, fellow feds. How you doing, Mr. Scott Awesome? We're glad to have you here in the house this morning. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. So, yeah, welcome in. Good to see you. Feel free to chime in with commentary. And, oh, we got a nice crowd developing over there on Rumble. We're glad to have you Rumblers over there. Not just the ones in chat, but also a lot of people viewing. Now you start leaving when I start pointing it out. Y'all are the shyest people. Oh my goodness, y'all are bad. Indian native doesn't impact the climate. Well, some people would say it does. Anyway, moving right along. All right, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Porch hounds have been busy again. It turns out that we got our hands on some correspondence going back and forth between President Trump and Governor Gavin Newsom of California. Yeah, I tell you what, the Porch Hounds are some of the best folk coming or going when it comes to getting their hands on news about what's going on in the world. And I don't know how they do it. Okay, now hopefully they're not doing anything illegally, immoral, or unethical to get this stuff. But they got their hands on some back and forth between Donald Trump and Gavin Newsom. And it turns out, of all the things, this is health related. Apparently, Gavin's been having some health problems and Trump's trying to help him out. Well, and I give Trump a lot of credit. I mean, this is good on our president. Apparently, Newsom's been having trouble with his eyes recently. And here's the correspondence. Hey, Gavin, I hear your eyes are swollen. Yes, they are. Yeah, I got a huge idea. You know what's good for your swollen eyes? What's that? Ice. And after that, all we know is Gavin Newsom was just brought into silence. So there you go. There you go. Hey, it's the guy's birthday. If Donald Trump wants to make a joke at Gavin Newsom's expense, who am I or who are you to tell him otherwise? I mean, seriously, it is Trump's birthday, for heaven's sake. What are you going to do out there, folks? What are you going to do? Oh, my gosh. Totally crazy. Totally crazy. Yes, absolutely. To one of our dear and wonderful fellow front porch residenters up in Connecticut. If you're watching this morning, darling, from all of us out here, mwah, love you, baby. We're sending you thoughts and prayers, and we hope you're doing okay. All right. What else do we have in the way of the merry memes this morning? Let us see. Oh, by the way, good news for you ladies out there. It turns out that there is an uptick in ladies engaging in their Second Amendment rights here in the United States. Yeah, gun purchases among women are going up. I think this is a good thing. And and people are kind of wondering why. Well, we came across something recently that might explain why it is that women are purchasing more guns. And actually, it has to do with some fairly clever advertising. I don't know about you guys, but this, I think, is a very good explanation for why it is women ought to purchase firearms and engage in their Second Amendment rights and their natural rights to self-defense. I mean, does it get any more plain than this? I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Ladies, look upon this one, and I hope you appreciate what they're trying to tell you out there. Z Highness says, I want a pink one. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I agree with you. That one sums it up very, very well. I totally agree with that. I absolutely concur. Totally. On the left, you have a woman engaging in her Second Amendment rights. On the other side, you have, well, bless their hearts. Let's just put it that way. Bless their hearts. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. More than one weapon. Just saying. Oh goodness me. I love you all. You guys are in fine form this morning. That's all I'm saying. In very fine form indeed. Oh, all right. We got a couple more, and then we'll get into some news items. You know, ever since Thursday evening, a lot of nations around the world have been reacting to what's going on in Israel, what's going on in Iran. They're making statements. They're doing various things. I mean, depending on what nation you're talking about, we'll get into some of that here in a few minutes. But there's one group of people on this planet that are having the most unbelievable reaction to what's going on. And I guess you have to look at it from their perspective. In their mind, you know, strange as it might seem to us, okay, for them, this is what's happening in between Israel and Iran. Again, I find it hard to believe, is a major cause for celebration. I mean, look, if you're the Germans, I can understand why you would be happy about what's going on in Israel and Iran, especially given the way y'all had a hand in starting 2 world wars already. I mean, you know, most people would look at this and go, I can't believe you guys are celebrating. But when you stop and think about why they're celebrating, you start to get it. I mean, yeah, for once they can still say it's not our fault. You know. Oh, really? Oh, you take the opposite tack on this one. Okay, well, all right, good enough. Well, now that's true. That's true. I'll give you that point. Okay, that is true. But they're starting a world war on a different front. At least where the Israelis and the Iranians are concerned, they'll be like, well, that ain't us. So, yeah, I can see where point taken. Fair point. Fair point indeed. Really? Really, Adam? Really? Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, funny that you bring up. Funny that you bring up our friend Lindsey Graham. Funny you should bring him up. But he has been seen since Thursday. He posted something on Twitter, but he has been seen out in public. And I don't know if this is such a good look for old Lindsey, but personally, I think it's highly appropriate. I mean, after all, he is a warmonger, so why not take it one step further and just call him what he is? He's a war pig. You know. I mean, I'm just saying. You know. So yeah, Lindsey Graham has been heard from. Oh, he's a happy person right now. He's a truly, truly happy person. Normally, I would say bless his heart, but no, I got nothing for Lindsey Graham. Nope. 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 Not at all. Not at all. I did see a meme. Talking about John Bolton. Um, it was made up in the form of a news article, and it said that John Bolton had just been released from the hospital for having a 5-day long erection over what's going on in Israel and Iran. Ugh. T. Gagliotti over on Rumble says Lindsey Graham is literally a traitor to his country. I don't disagree with that. Kawan says Lady G, as he is known on Capitol Hill. I pray, what are they referring to, sir? What are they referring to? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Pansy Graham. Ugh. All right. I want to thank so many people. I want to thank Salty Old Fart. I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank Adam. I want to thank so many of y'all. These memes are just on fire. You guys are amazing. And God love you. You're just extraordinary with the stuff that you bring, and the energy and the humor and the passion and the ability to start conversations. You guys are just tremendous. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one more meme that I have. There is one more, and this comes from Wade. I believe it's Wade. Let me make sure about this. Yeah, it comes from one of our newer folks who are following the Electronic Front Porch. He's on Twitter. His name is Wade. He goes by the Twitter handle I'm Your Daddy 70, and he sent me one by way of direct message. So I gotta thank him for it. And this one's going to kind of lead into our discussions this morning. You know, the Israelis have been trying to give all kinds of justification for why they've been doing what they're doing. But, they did release a press statement. Oh, Salty, that's you? Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, cool. Salty, thank you. This comes from Salty Old Fart over on Rumble. Salty, this is probably one of the best ones you could have come up with. This is what the Israelis are claiming with regard to why they did what they did. I mean, I'm going to let it speak for itself. So, there you go, folks. You want to know why the Israelis are doing what they're doing? It was preemptive. We had to do it. It was preemptive. We had to. Okay. All right. So you say. Salty says 1,000 words in this meme. Oh, that one says so much. That one says so much, my friend. Oh, goodness me, it does. I think you sent me one more here. Hang on, folks. Salty just sent me something in chat. So I'm going to check this out real fast. Hang on. Let's see what this is. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Talking about John Bolton. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's been having some medical issues ever since Thursday. Try this one on for size. Yeah, poor old John Bolton. He's, yeah. Oh, always a 5-hour erection. Okay, I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen. I stand corrected. I thought it was a 5-day. Believe me, right now, just, yeah, I could scream. Okay, let's get into it. And obviously, we're going to start with the biggest topic that's coming or going right now: the strikes by the Israelis on the Islamic Republic of Iran. And this has, at least to me, and I want you guys' take on this, okay? I want you guys' take on this one. This, to me, had, at least when it first broke out Thursday night, this had some very eerily similar feels to 2003 when we invaded Iraq. Now, here's what I'm getting at. Okay. Remember the second invasion of Iraq that we were going to execute a shock and awe campaign? Hang on a second. Well, the mute button's still working correctly on my computer. You remember the shock and awe campaign? We were just going to blow Iraqi minds with all of our amazing precision missiles and aerial strikes and technology and yada, yada, yada. Well, thank you very much, dear. I appreciate that. Remember all that? So the Israelis launched their attack on Iran Thursday night, and oh my goodness, there was a certain amount of giddiness over the whole thing. And especially with some of the reports that were coming out, I've got a clip here from CNN, and I'm not sure if we're going to play the whole thing, but I'll play some of it. But this ought to give you an idea of why everybody was just so daggone happy. Check this out.
Caitlin, something I just heard from a senior Israeli official who says that according to Israeli assessments, there are very high chances that the entire Iranian general staff, including the head of the Iranian general staff of the Iranian military, and several senior Iranian nuclear scientists were all eliminated in the Israeli strikes tonight. I hear that again from a senior Israeli official who says that several senior top Iranian military commanders, including the head of the general staff of the Iranian military and senior nuclear scientists, have all been targeted in those strikes. And according to IDF assessments, there's a high chance that they've been eliminated.
Yeah, you begin to understand why I say the giddiness was starting to set in. Hey man, we took him out. High five, dude. Boom. Fist bump. We got him. Yatta, yatta, da, 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 da. And there was a lot of commentary made about how the Israelis had taken out the command and control centers of the Iranian air defense, and it was going to be easy going forward, and yada yada yada, and all this great, and da 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 da. Yeah, well, then the Iranians had something to say about all that, and I've got another clip here. Now I'll just play this one for you. I'll do it without sound. This is the Iranian response to all that. Folks, you see those red little dots coming down out of the sky? Those are missiles going into Tel Aviv. Past the vaunted Israeli Iron Dome defense that's supposed to catch all this stuff and make sure that, they're not, that no missiles hit the ground. We intercept it in the sky. Yeah. How's that working out for you there, our friends in the Middle East? Now, you'll forgive me if I'm just a little bit more than skeptical, a little bit more than irritated, a little bit more than a lot of things right now. Because here we go again. Okay? And you know what, Kawan? That's a really fair point. Saddam didn't have all this tech. The Iranians do. Okay? And it's been a long time since the Iranians have had... Well, let me rephrase that. It's been a long time since the Iranians displayed what kind of military weapons that they've got. Okay? Salty old fart over on Rumble says, the Israelis did claim that their Iron Dome munitions were low. Well, okay, all right. If that's the case, then I might understand. But that sort of begs an interesting question. You mean to tell me the Israelis have been planning this strike on Iran for God only knows how long, and nobody inside the Israeli Defense Force thought, maybe it's a good time for us to beef up our Iron Dome munitions so that if they do launch a counterattack, we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, here we go again. They've only been killing each other over there since Cain and Abel. That is a great point. That's a great point. T. Gagliotti says the Iron Dome doesn't protect against hypersonics, just low-flying rockets and drones. Okay, fair point. That's fair. And if that's what was dropping into Israel the other night, fair enough. If those were hypersonics, which again, that's a valid report. I've heard the same thing. HI HIMARS can hit some hypersonics, but not all of them. Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I appreciate that indeed. But here we go again. Another war in the Middle East. And I'm sorry, that's where we're headed here. This is not going to just stop with some kind of surgical strike by the Israelis against the Iranians. This is going to get that whole damn region sucked in. And us along with it. So if I'm a little more than irritated this morning, if I'm a little bit more than pissed off this morning, I apologize to all y'all. Rants are probably incoming. Okay? But I am. I'm not going to lie about how I feel. Here we go again. Potentially. Here we go again. So yeah, there's a lot of giddiness on the part of people inside Israel. There's a lot of giddiness on the part of the neocons in Washington. Lindsey Graham is practically, there are ladies in the audience. I will keep it polite, but let's just put it this way: the sexual stimulation that he's feeling over this is probably more than he's had in years. He's having all kinds of orgasmic reactions to what's going on. John Bolton's the same way. Mike Pompeo's the same way. And everybody's like, oh, we got him now. We got it going. Yeah. And as the news starts coming in, 40 are injured in Israel. I've also heard reports of deaths already. Yep. Y'all just keep on being as giddy as you want to. Just go ahead. Just have your celebrations. Pop the champagne. Let's not think about all the things that could be happening, which, by the way, talk about the law of unintended consequences. Here's a report for you. Kiryat, Tel Aviv's nuclear research center, has been destroyed. I got a clip here from Fox News. Yeah, like I said, you talk about the law of unintended consequences, try this one on for size. Here's a report from one of Fox's people on the ground. The picture is blurry, not because of my computer, by the way. But anyway, check this out.
Correspondent Trey Yinks has been up all night, is standing by with all the details. Trey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Laura, following that Israeli attack against Iranian nuclear facilities and top IRGC leadership overnight and into today, the Iranians have responded with 3 waves of ballistic missiles. This is Israel's version of the Pentagon, the Kiryat. And the building on this compound was just hit.
Please go back. Go back, please. Go back, please.
You can understand here, it's very tense at this specific location because the Iranians are now targeting the defense establishment of Israel.
And my response to the Israelis is, I hope you guys suspected this. I agree. I'll agree with you. I agree. But I'm Robert, and I'm sure everybody here is thinking the same thing. If we're not careful, and frankly, to some degree, I think we're already getting sucked into this thing. I really do. But if we're not careful, we're going to have troops on the ground and we're going to be sucked right in the middle of a Middle East war again. That's what's making me so angry about this. Trump has been trying to negotiate some kind of a deal with the Iranians, which, by the way, I have a question that I would like for somebody to answer, and be it in this audience or somewhere else. Okay? Why do I get the feeling that the Israelis launched this strike in part to scuttle the negotiations between Trump and the Iranians? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to kind of wonder what they're thinking right now. You really got to wonder what those kids are thinking. And Salty Old Fart over on Rumble asks a very prescient question. Will our munition supply, is it going to be sufficient after all the shit that we gave to Ukraine? If we do wind up getting into a shooting war in the Middle East, Salty, that's a great question. That's a great question. That's a very legitimate question. Oh, yeah. And by the way, the Israelis aren't the only ones who've wanted this conflict. I've got a clip here in a minute. I got a clip here. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go and play it. Hang on. I was going to save this for a little further into the presentation, but you know what? Now's about as good a time as any. Hang on a minute. Let me find it here real fast. Oh, come on. Where is it? Hang on, folks. I got to find this. Like I said, I was going to save this for a little bit later, but this is so worth bringing up right now. The Israelis are not the only ones who wanted this. I want to take you guys back in time. To a forum that former General Wesley Clark was speaking at. And this one bears listening to. Now, this was from a few years ago, but when Clark was speaking, but I want you guys to listen to this, okay? Listen to what he says. There's about 2 minutes of this clip, but I want you to hear it.
Right after 9/11, about 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who had used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know."
Now, keep in mind, this is Wesley Clark walking around the Pentagon. This is just after 9/11, 2001. 9 days later, he walks into an office of an old buddy of his, and his old buddy tells him, "Hey, we made the decision. We're going to invade Iraq." Clark's like, "What? Why?" He's like, "I don't know." Listen to this.
He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later. And by that time, we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
Did you guys hear that? Maybe a month after 9/11, there were people inside the Pentagon who are already making plans for regime change in 7 different countries. And the last one of the bunch was Iran. Good morning to you. Long time no see. The neoconservatives in this country have been itching for a fight with Iran for years. They just needed the provocation to do it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Wesley Clark was just honest enough to tell you exactly what was going on. Yeah. Now, it took them longer than 5 years. And a lot of the countries on that list, matter of fact, let me back that up. I want to play the last part of that again. I want to play the last part of that. Guys, let me put that back up there. Listen to this again very carefully.
Worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. I said, is it classified? He said, yes, sir.
One more time.
He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Okay, now there's 2 countries on that list that I don't think anything's been done with yet. And I could be wrong. My recollections could be wrong on this. Sudan and Somalia may be the only ones where something has happened. But Saddam Hussein's gone in Iraq. Bashir Assad is gone in Syria. The leadership in Lebanon's changed around, and God only knows what it is right now. Gaddafi's gone in Libya. And I guess now we're down to Iran. I guess now we're down to Iran. Oh, I had forgot. Refresh my memory on what we did on this one, Kawan. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Just refresh my memory, because Somalia is not ringing any bells with me. So I guess my question is this. One of them, anyway. One of many. So the Israelis launched a strike against Iran. Okay. You did it under the pretext of stopping their nuclear capability. Okay. I can respect that. And Lord knows you've done it with other nations down through the years. You did it to the Iraqis back in the 80s, I think it was. You did it to the Iraqis. You did it in Syria in 2007. So you've got a history for doing this sort of thing. But is this one just about stopping their nuclear capability, or are you guys trying to engage in regime change? Call me cynical. I mean, people can say what they want, but I don't know that I'm that far off. Am I? Because if the Israelis aren't using this for regime change, I know some neoconservative politicians in this country that would love to use this situation to be able to take down the current regime in Tehran. Which, don't get me wrong, I have no great love for the mullahs that control the Republic of Iran. But by the same token, if that government's going to change, hopefully it comes from the people rising up to make the change themselves without us going in and trying to do there what we did in Iraq back in 2003. You remember when we're going to make democracy flourish all over the Middle East? Remember all those conversations? Oh yeah, we had a hand in that too. I mean, I am, ever since Thursday night, and I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I am a whole different mixture of emotions. I'm scared for what may yet come. I think as I think people rightfully can be, regardless of where they are on this issue, where they are politically, because this has the potential to get out of hand real fast. I was rewatching something this morning because I wanted to get the quote as accurate as I could. One of my favorite movies, The Hunt for Red October. There's a scene where an F-14 Tomcat is trying to land on the deck of the USS Enterprise. Well, one thing or another happens. The plane comes crashing onto the deck, and the commander of the boat, who's played by the late Fred Dalton, my favorite character actors, he looks around and says, "This business will get out of control. It will get out of control, and we will be lucky to survive it." And that is the fear that I've got right now. This is going to get out of hand, and we will be lucky to survive it. I'm also a mixture of angry. I'm a mixture of angry because it's like, is this what we're going to do? I mean, we were trying to resolve this peacefully. According to some reports, there was some breakthroughs in the negotiation. Maybe the Trump administration could have negotiated this thing and prevented the Israelis from doing what they did. We'll never know now. So I'm angry on that front. I'm angry on the front of here we go again. And not just us, the United States. I mean the whole daggone region. Okay? Another shooting war breaking out at a time that some people are trying to bring peace. And again, motives in this are just all over the place. So I'm not saying every actor that's involved in this, their hands are totally clean. Okay, so don't get me wrong here. You know, I'm saddened for the loss of life that's going to take place on both sides, the Iranians and the Israelis. I'm saddened for the innocents that are going to get hurt in all this. They may not get killed, but they're going to be hurt. Physically, emotionally, whatever. So I am like a whole mix of emotions. And none of them are good. But I'm trying to look at this thing with a clear and unjaundiced eye. Israel has the right to defend itself, but they don't have the right to suck us into it. And this is, and you know, my hope, and again, I'm not privy to all the thinking and the strategy and the everything else, but if I were in Donald Trump's ear right now, I'd be like, do not let the Israelis suck you into this. Don't let them do it. Oh, so true. So true. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't want the U.S. I'm finding, people online. I'm finding myself agreeing with Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks and Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts over this whole thing. And I never thought I would be on the same side as those two on any issue. Oh, this is so true. So true. And this is a good way of putting it. Not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys. That's a real good way of putting it. Real good way of putting it. I just don't want to see my country go through this again. But that's where we are. And now, to give you an update about where things are at, the Iranians are promising, the Israelis are promising that Tehran will burn if Iran fires any more missiles in response to the deadly strikes. So you've got that going on. Then on top of that, so the Israelis are promising retribution. You've got, and as far as what the Israelis have hit so far, I do have something that gives a little bit of context. I found this map. This is where the strikes have taken place so far. All of these have military or nuclear implications for Iran. This is what the Israelis have hit so far. Yeah, and you know what, Kawan? This is a really good point. Which kind of explains Cenk Uygur's thinking on this thing. Not one dime, not one boot. In other words, not one dime of U.S. money, and not one U.S. boot on the ground. So that's what the Israelis have hit so far. The Israelis are promising the Iranians, you do any more with this, and we will come after you. So yeah, this is where we are right now. Oh, and by the way, according to NBC this morning, any hopes that we had of getting the Iranians back to the table as far as like continued negotiation, the Iranians have said, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. So Steve Witkoff can save himself a plane ride this morning. Now, here's a question for you guys that I guess people are asking. What did Trump know and when did he know it? Oh, that's absolutely great point, my friend. Great point. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Just turn off the money. Salty old fart over on Rumble says, sound to me like Bibi hit the Iranians to try to get Iran back. That's another question I've got about all this. And we'll know when we know, if we'd ever do know. Here's what I'm getting at. Is there a game of good cop, bad cop being played here? And this goes to Salty's comment, and this is the question I have. Donald Trump is out there saying, hey, we had nothing to do with this. We didn't launch these strikes. We didn't do anything else. But is Trump using the situation of Israel attacking Iran as a way to try to get the Iranians to the table to agree to a deal? Now, if that's the case, this is the most extreme and heinous form of good cop, bad cop I've ever heard of. T. Gagliotti brings up a good point. Well, whoever is left to come to the table to negotiate, Israel's going to keep on killing the negotiators. That's a fair point. Fair point. T. Gagliotti says Trump is full of shite when he tries to stay aloof. He knew this was coming. Okay. Glad you brought that up because I got a clip. And this is from Glenn Beck's program the other day on The Blaze. So give me a second here and I'll get this pulled up. Guys, tell me what you think about this. Now, the gentleman that he's interviewing is formerly of the Israeli Defense Fund. He was a spokesperson, Jonathan Conricus. So here's talking about what Trump knew and when did he know it. Well, let's check this out.
So I was a little disappointed today. Two Israeli officials, that's all it said in this Axios article, that they said that President Trump was instrumental in all of this, et cetera, but he and Benjamin Netanyahu were engaged in deception. And I read this as I don't think Israel would have done something this massive without the United States, in their corner. But I don't think it's deceptive when the president says you have 60 days to negotiate and you don't want to see what happens on day 61. I don't think that's deceptive to make plans to go in on day 61. He kept giving them the same warning over and over again. Do you read that as deception or a negotiator that is telling you the truth?
I think actually it's both. It's deception in the good way of how to wage war and how to catch your enemy unaware and unprepared. And that is what Israel did. Has the US president been deceptive? No, I don't think so. I think he's been very straightforward, telling the Iranians time and time again, this is the best deal that you're going to get. You should relinquish all attempts to enrich material in Iran, and you should allow full comprehensive inspection of all of your sites, nuclear as well as weapons development. And if you do that, nothing bad is going to happen, and we will probably freeze sanctions, and good things will happen to Iran. The Iranian leadership heard that, but didn't do it. And as you said correctly, we are today on day 61 of the presidential ultimatum, and this is what happens.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I really don't. Can I prove that Trump knew ahead of time that this was going to go down? No idea. I cannot see us not knowing that this was going to happen. I can't see us. Now, could I see Trump saying to Netanyahu, you do this, you do it on your own? Mr. Scott Awesome over on Rumble says, Trump always used strong rhetoric, whether his actions are weak or none at all. I would be surprised if he knew, since him and Bibi don't like each other. I would tend to think neocons knew like Rubio. Possible. And Trump's playing into it because of ego and ignorance. Possible. Altogether possible. Robert says Trump absolutely knew. We've been holding them back from this scenario for decades. Now, that I can agree with. The last part of that, we have been holding them back from doing this. Yeah. Yep. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Pray for the folks in the Middle East. And I mean this. I mean, look. Pray for folks in the Middle East. And I don't necessarily mean the governments either. I mean just the average citizens. People just trying to live their lives, raise their families. Yeah, and we can say all kinds of things about both sides on this, but there are people that are just trying to raise their families, live their lives, and live in as much peace as they possibly can. Pray for them. Pray for your fellow citizens, because like I said, pray for our soldiers in the Middle East, because this could get out of hand real fast. Yeah, and this is a good point too. If Trump didn't know this was coming, the implications off of that are staggering. Just staggering. I agree with that completely. Oh, and this is something else that's heartbreaking to me. Just heartbreaking. There is such a divide between the population of Iran and the mullahs that rule over them. The people in Iran, as I understand it, the people of Iran are desperate to be free. They want to go back to what Iran was before the Ayatollah Khomeini took over in 1979. They just want to be free. Salty old fart over on Rumble says, okay, so how else do we get out from under the globalists? This isn't going to be an easy task, and we should all know that by now. Fair point. Absolutely fair point. And Salty, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I mean, I might be a guy that sits out on social media and makes commentary, but there's just some moments I just don't have good answers, and I don't have a good answer to that one. And I'm not going to sit here and try and BS you and tell you that I do. I don't know. I just know that there are elements in this country and in the Middle East that want perpetual war. And there's elements in this country and around the world, and I count myself among them. I don't want to be perpetually at war. I don't want to see my fellow citizens be killed or injured in the name of somebody else's agenda. How about we take care of our agenda first? You know, America first before anybody else. Oh, and I remember this. I absolutely remember this. 2009, just after Obama got in, the Green Revolution that was breaking out in Iran. Hundreds of thousands of young people in the streets begging Obama for just anything. Just stand up and say something. Wouldn't do it. Well, and this is true too. This is a fair point. Freedom may not mean a democracy, but at least as we envision it, but it may one that's less authoritarian. Fair enough. And that would even be better than what we're dealing with right now. Mr. Scott Awesome over on Rumble says, Rubio was a neocon footstool for a long time, so I don't trust him. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if he and the deep state, maybe along with Susie Wiley cohorts, are steering Trump into this. Possible. Good questions. Good comments all the way around. Good comments. That's a good way of putting it. And I know the show that you're referencing in this. Good point. Yeah, so I mean, that's where I am with all this. And I just, with everything that's been going on for the past couple of days, I knew we had to talk about this morning. So, absolutely, we got to get into it. We got to talk about it. So, like I say, folks, I'm never going to BS you and tell you I've got all the answers. But, sometimes it's just good to talk this stuff out. And hopefully the electronic front porch serves that function for you guys too. And if it does, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment in chat, hit the bell for notifications, and let's make sure you're always aware when something new is going on this electronic front porch. All right, we're going to shift topics because I think I've just about just one last thing, however, before we totally leave this. People are trying to figure out exactly where we are. This one kind of hits home more than anything I've seen recently. And I thought, you know what? I have got to put this one up here. I got to put this one up here. When I saw this, I went, dang, this is just so prescient. I was like, man, I gotta share this with the audience. This one's just too good. Just too good. And so wholly appropriate. Anyway, hope you all enjoy. You know what? Hang on. You recognize this artist? Okay. Did not know you were familiar with him, but you know what? That one is so good. I'm dropping that one in chat. So there it is on the Rumble side, and here it comes on the YouTube side for anybody who might want to share that one around with your friends. Anyway, all right, let's talk about some other things going on this morning. And as we are wont to do, a meme kind of sets up the whole discussion. I did see that. I've got it. We'll play a snippet of it, and I will drop that one in chat for everybody. But yes, I did see it. Yes. All right. A meme does so much to explain our next topic. And again, I gotta thank Salty for this one. Salty, tell you what. You and Adam and WWG1, y'all are just like becoming like the meme kings on this channel. No more Kangs. Well, what does that mean? Well, we'll see your no kings, and we will raise you no queens. So if I tell you what, if both of these start happening, woo, interesting day it's going to be. Oh my goodness. No Kangs and no Quans, as the case may be. Now, for those of you who maybe are new to the channel, or you're watching on Rumble, or you're watching on YouTube, and maybe you're not making any comments, you're like, what the heck is he talking about? Well, it's kind of a good news, bad news sort of thing. And here's what I'm getting at. Good news, folks. We are going to have a good old-fashioned military parade today. Now, for those of you who have not heard about this evening in Washington, D.C., a parade is being held to honor the service and the memory of the 250th anniversary of the United States Armed Forces. Check this out. This is from the Associated Press. Headline, here's what to expect at the Army's 250th anniversary parade on Trump's birthday. Article written by Tara Kopp. We have the following. Tanks and armored vehicles. The Army is putting 28 M1 Abrams battle tanks into rail cars at Fort Cazavo, Texas, and they'll be brought up into D.C. There's going to be an influx of soldiers, maybe around close to 7,000. That's kind of cool. Aircraft and helicopters will be buzzing. That's kind of cool. Yeah, we got a lot to look forward to. So that's the great news. We're going to celebrate in this country. We're going to celebrate the United States Army. that has been in existence now for 250 years. I mean, personally, I think this is great. This is great. Okay. I think this is awesome. Look, we need to do things like this. I did not have it prepared. I didn't pull it up, but I really now wished I had. Back in 1991, after the end of the first Gulf War. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Fort Hood out of Texas. I should have known. Apologies. After the first Gulf War in 91, we had a big parade right in the middle of Washington, D.C. CBS News covered it as part of the evening news. It was a parade to celebrate the veterans, the survivors, and those who had fallen in the first Gulf War. Huge parade. Long time since we've done this. So yeah, we're going to have a parade. We're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. I think that's fantastic. That's the good news. Here comes the bad news. On the same day that we're going to be doing that, we have something breaking out across the country. We're having no Kangs. No Kangs, we say. And again, from the Associated Press, what to know about the No Kings protests against Trump policies. Article written by Lisa Bauman, we have the following. Opponents of President Donald Trump's administration are set to rally in hundreds of cities on Saturday during the military parade in Washington to mark the Army's 250th anniversary, which coincides with Trump's birthday. The No Kings protests are set to take place to counter what organizers say are Trump's plans to feed his ego on his 79th birthday and Flag Day. No Kings will follow several days of nationwide protests against federal immigration raids, including Los Angeles, where Trump's deployment of the National Guard further agitated his opponents. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is following the president's cue. Abbott said Thursday that he has ordered the deployment of more than 5,000 Texas National Guard troops, along with more than 2,000 state police, in response to the ongoing demonstrations and in preparation for the No Kings protest. So, couldn't have just a parade where we celebrate the United States military, which is one of the most awesome, lethal, and forces for good in the world, or at least has the potential to be, depending on who's wielding it. Let me put it like that. But now we've got to use a parade day where we now and TBA brings up a really good point over on Rumble. It says this No Kings event was planned since November 6, 2024, so it's not sudden. Yeah, you got that right. So yeah, we're gonna protest on this day, and let me find it here real quick. Z Highness sent me something this morning, and hang on a minute, folks. Hang on a minute. Yeah, here it is. I'm going to pop this up here because it needs to be seen. As far as where these protests are taking place, give me a second here and let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do this, or it's going to let me do this. Hang on. All right, I'm going to try something here. This is where the protests are being held across the country. Now, and I'm not going to give Z Highness any grief over this. This was a map that she managed to get her hands on. These are the protests all around the country today. These No Kings protests. So, just be warned, this is hanging out there, okay? And I want to thank Z Highness for providing that map. But yeah, we've got that going on. So good news. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate our country and our nation's military, the Army in particular. Okay. Bad news. We're going to have 250 protests around the country doing it. Now, for his part, Donald Trump had a fairly humorous take on this whole No Kings protest, and I got to share this with you because this is just daggone funny. Okay. And Trump was asked about this the other day during his press conference. Check this out.
There are several No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they go? No kings?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off. And after years, we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. I think if I were Trump, however, I'd be very concerned, and for a lot of reasons, because, and TBA over on Rumble points this out very well. The No Kings event is well planned, well funded, well coordinated by people who hate and loathe America. And TBA brings up a very valid point, and I got a little bit of information here. A little bit of information to share with you guys. Let me get this pulled up real quick. Yeah, here's something from Laura Loomer talking about how well funded and well organized this No Kings protest is. Check this out. This is on from Laura Loomer's Twitter page. Buses full of Marxist and Islamist rioters will be arriving to D.C. from New York City today. They're going to create chaos at the military parade. These are violent people. Be on high alert today if you live in a large city, especially D.C. or New York City. As a matter of fact, here's a poster that they were using to kind of give you an idea. Wow. So, I mean, I know that Trump's trying to put a good face on it, and I get that. But, my friend, just be very, very careful. That's all I'm saying. Be very, very careful. A little more evidence about how well organized and well funded and well financed this is. I tell you what, have y'all heard of a young lady out there named Data Republican? I tell you what, she kind of came to the fore I shouldn't say during the 2024 election. She is a young lady who's probably one of the most gifted data analysts I have ever seen. And interestingly, from what I understand about her, she's deaf. But as far as her ability to sit around and analyze data and put things together, she's extraordinary. And I say that to bring up this. She did an analysis, and Mike Benz commented on it. The American Center, the AFL-CIO, received from the federal government $72 million in federal funding. Okay? And guess what? The AFL-CIO is helping to organize the No Kings protest. Like I say, this young lady, Data Republican, she is extraordinary for her ability to just take information and just siphon it down. She's amazing. But yeah, this is going to be well funded, well organized. Man, be careful. No, I didn't say you had a Data Republican. Good. No. Data Republican. I'm messing with you, dude. I know you're messing with me. That's all good. Oh, Adam, really? Really? Oh my gosh. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, deaf and nonverbal, but God gifted her with data. Oh, Gypsy, I wholeheartedly agree with this. She is probably, and I mean this in all sincerity, she is probably one of the finest analysts of information that I have ever seen. This girl can do stuff with a computer and programs and just take globs of information and just completely break it down to an understandable level that anybody, when they start looking at her work, can get. They can pick up what she's putting down. She's amazing. I mean, people talk about Elon Musk and how his purchase of Twitter, opened the door for free speech and that sort of thing. I tell you what, and I mean this in all sincerity, that young lady who goes by the name Data Republican is just as influential as an Elon Musk, is just as influential as a Laura Loomer in her own way, through her own contributions and her own set of God-given skill. She is just amazing. And I tell you what, may God continue to bless her with the ability to do what she's doing, because I tell you what, she can, you remember Rush Limbaugh's old phrase, making the complex understandable? That is Data Republican. That's her. She is just amazing. Well, okay. What people say Elon did, let's put it like that. How about that? But she's just amazing, and I pray that she keeps on doing what she's doing. Is she better than Big Balls? Yeah, I don't know, but she'd give Big Balls a run for his money. We'll see. Salty just sent me something over on Rumble. Hang on a minute, folks. I'm gonna see what this character's laying down. Give me a second here. Oh, Salty, we're going to play this. We're going to play this. This is too good. This is just too good. Hold it. Stop that. Now, Gypsy sent me something, which kind of goes along with what Salty just sent me here. Oh, 17 George is in the house. 17 George, how you doing over there, my friend? Good to have you hanging out with us on Rumble this morning. Or I should say this afternoon. Oh my gosh, it's now past 12 o'clock. So yeah, good to see you hanging out with us. Feel free to contribute and chime in as you might. Glad to have you. But Gypsy sent me something, and we're going to play a little bit of it. And, everybody talks about the protests that we now find going on in the country. Everybody's protesting. Would you believe that what we're seeing now is decades old? And by that, here's what I'm getting at. Let me play you guys a little something. And again, I got to thank Gypsy for this one. Folks, check this out.
A little while, but I guess I needed a little break. So I'm actually working on another video. And then I came across an old 1972 documentary called The Riot Makers. And I wanted to share it since all these riots are going on right now. And being that it's from over 50 years ago, I thought it would be interesting to see some similarities.
To cope with civil disorders, we must understand and act on all the causes, including the people who manipulate violence and destruction, the people we call the riot makers. A chemist knows that if he drops a block of sodium in water, it will explode. An engineer knows that if he buries dynamite in proper quantities and patterns and detonates it, he can dig an irrigation ditch. And a trained revolutionary knows that if he chooses proper slogans, gathers a crowd, and sends agents in to agitate it, he can create a riot. The techniques of riot making are as simple, scientific, and systematic as that. Of course, street crowds and mobs and mass hysteria have been weapons of political warfare from time immemorial. But until the 20th century, riots and civil upheavals were usually spontaneous. True, professional troublemakers and agitators usually figured in the plot somewhere. But no one ever had begun to analyze their role in a scientific spirit, to collect the techniques of agitation, create a handbook, and train others in the art of disruption and revolution, until this man, Vladimir Lenin, the evil genius who became the chief architect, instigator, and beneficiary of the Russian Revolution.
Sound familiar, folks? And notice what was said, that protests did not become what they are now until the 20th century. And I'm going to drop this on the YouTube side and on the Rumble side. If you guys want to check out this video, I recommend it to you. And I also have to thank our good friend Salty for this little contribution. So give me a second and I'll get it pulled up. This one it's serious, but it is also kind of funny in one sense. So with that, do me a favor and check this out.
Why are you rioting? I don't know. I was paid to be here and I just want to destroy stuff. Is what you are doing illegal?
Well, these are peaceful protests. Even that guy over there says so.
Yeah, kind of funny, but then again, so true. I chuckle, I shouldn't, but then again, yeah. And oh, by the way, folks, if you're wondering what it's like being in the middle of a peaceful protest, well, our friend Adam here found something that I thought was pretty good descriptor for it. With that, shout out to you, Adam. That one's pretty good indeed. So, folks, just be careful out there today. Like I said, particularly if you live near a large city, seriously, be very, very careful. Because you know what? Those protesters, man, they are some seriously confused people. I mean, after all, they don't know whether they ought to be, protesting ICE or Israel or Trump or whatever, man. I don't know. So, no, in all seriousness, though, be careful out there, okay? Be careful. And pray for President Trump. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but pray for President Trump. Right now, he's got a lot on his plate and a lot on his shoulders. And, yeah. Good point. Good point indeed. So, yeah, pray for President Trump, especially today. I mean, man turned 79 years old today, and he's dealing with a potential world war, insurrection at home, etc. Jeez. Just straight crazy. Okay. All right. We're going to train. Yeah, easy for me to say. We're going to change compartments on the train, and we're going to shift over to a different topic. And with that, let me do a real quick commercial. Folks, we got a nice crowd over on Rumble this morning. We got a great crowd here on YouTube. And we're glad to have all of you here. And if you're stopping by for the very first time and you're like, who the heck is this cat? And what the heck is this all about? Well, let me fill you in on the details. My name is Brian Trippett, and I'm known as the Front Porch Conservative. And this live stream is known as Front Porch Brunch. We get together on Saturdays starting around 10:30 in the morning and talk about the news, and everybody gets to give their take and have a little fun with it whenever possible. People provide memes, they provide commentary, good jokes. We try and find a way to make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. So if that is something that you enjoy, if you like this live stream and you're having fun so far, do me some favors. Subscribe to my channel. I've got a channel on Rumble and I got a channel on YouTube. Give me a sub. While you're at it, go ahead and hit the bell for notifications. I want to make sure you're always aware when new things are coming out. And leave a thumbs up and leave a comment. Both of those things together, the thumbs up and the comment, really helps push this live stream out to other people who may not have seen it before. So everything you do helps tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. Okay, let us serve up some HodgePodge stew. Now, again, for those of you here for the first time, HodgePodge stew is one of these things that we do here on the live stream. We talk about a story or a series of stories that maybe they didn't get all the attention that they should have, but they definitely deserve talking about. And it's funny because the one that I'm going to start with from HodgePodge stew, I was gonna do something with this the other night until what happened in Israel broke out. And that is Senator Alex Padilla of California. Now, I titled this live stream Democrat Theatrics, and this is the story I primarily had in mind. Now, for those of you who may not have heard about this yet, Alex Padilla is the senior senator from California. I forgot Adam Schiff got elected in 24. Alex Padilla is the senior senator from the state of California. He's also the former attorney general of the state of California. So the man's been around politically for a while to know what is going on. But for those of you who haven't heard what happened to him, out in Los Angeles the other day, he found himself in a very interesting situation. I'm sorry, I forgot. My apologies. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I forgot to include the word of the day. I've always said that we here on the Electronic Front Porch are always trying to find ways to improve your education and my education. And you know what? We came across something that is an appropriate word for the day, and that is this: dictum. When you act like a dick, but then you feel and act like the victim, that makes you a dictum. So do not be a dictum. We do not want you to be a dictum. That is something you should avoid above all else. Okay? And please, ladies and gentlemen, please do not be a dictum. We would really appreciate that. Okay? Really appreciate that. Oh, really? Really? You don't say. Okay. Interesting. All right. We'll get some of that. All right. So let's get into this story. Now, for those of you who maybe have not heard about this, Alex Padilla was out in Los Angeles the other day at an event being held by Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Now, people can say what they want to about Kristi Noem, and God knows they will, but she's holding a press event. And what happened next, everybody has seen the part that I'm going to show you, but nobody's really gone into the background of what actually happened. So here's a 20-second clip. Watch this.
Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
How many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted.
Okay, so that's the clip that most everybody in America saw. Okay. Yeah, really. That's a good nickname for her. That's a good nickname for her. And I'll be honest, Kristi Noem to me is one of those people. She's one of the rare combinations of people in Trump's cabinet. Usually people in Trump's cabinet so far have fallen into two categories: very effective or very much trying to get a TV gig. Kristi Noem is one of those people that's effective and she's trying to get a TV gig. I mean, the woman is ridiculous in some respects, okay? All right. But I'll give Kristi Noem this. This one, as far as I'm concerned, Kristi Noem is totally innocent on this one. Okay? This one, whatever went down, whatever happens, is all on Alex Padilla, and we're going to explain why here in a minute. Okay? Now, that 20-second clip is what most everybody in America saw on Thursday. Okay? Oh, hold on. Small time. We're going to get to this, buddy. Hang on, buddy. We're going to get to this. Okay? What people didn't see in the background, okay? What people did not know was happening, okay, was everything that kind of led up to this. Now, I'm not necessarily going to play the clips, okay? But I am going to show you the statements that were made, not just by the Department of Homeland Security, but even by officials at the FBI. Now, I'm going to put this up here to start this. Homeland Security issued a statement after Alex Padilla was walked out of there. And by the way, he was taken out in handcuffs. And if you're wondering what Homeland Security had to say about this, they had the following. Senator Padilla chose disrespectful political theater and interrupted a live press conference without identifying himself or having his Senate security pin on as he lunged towards Secretary Noem. Mr. Padilla was told repeatedly to back away and did not comply with officers' repeated commands. Secret Service thought he was an attacker and officers acted appropriately. And here's the kicker to it. Senator Noem met with Senator Padilla after and had a 15-minute meeting with the guy. Now, to listen to Alex Padilla tell it, she will not answer my questions. She will not do anything. Oh, yeah? Well, then why'd she meet with you 15 minutes after it's all over with? You know. T. Gagliotti over on Rumble says, if one of us pulled a stunt like that, we'd be in El Salvador right now. Boy, ain't that the truth. Ain't that the truth? Salty says, Alex Padilla crying on TV doing... Oh, hang on to that, Salty. We're going to get to that, brother. We're going to get to that. Yeah, idiot on idiot violence. That's a good way to describe it. That's a real good way to describe it, brother. But anyway, he doesn't identify himself. He keeps trying to come up to the stage. He's not wearing his appropriate markers, you know, because you see those Senate pins that tell you who somebody is. No, she ain't my type. Forget it. No, thank you. Nope. Nope. No, sir. Absolutely not. Maybe other guys, not me. She's a little much, as the kids say these days. Okay? She's a little much. So no meetings with Kristi Noem from me, thank you. No. But going back to this whole thing, okay? So he's not wearing, you know, the things that normally would tell people, hey, this is a U.S. Senator. He doesn't identify himself, doesn't do anything else. He just pulls this stunt. And that's exactly what it is. It's a stunt. Okay? Now, for her part, I'm going to give you both sides of this. Kristi Noem goes on, shockingly, she goes on Fox News. What is it with Trump cabinet people and Fox News? Don't y'all have the good sense to know that the people at Fox News hate your guts? Well, I shouldn't say all of them. The ownership of Fox News hates your guts and hates the guts of your boss. Why are you going on that network, for God's sake? Really? You can go anyplace else. Y'all got to go on Fox News. Oh, it's the conservative network. The hell it is. Sorry, ranting. Anyway, so Kristi Noem goes on there to give her side of it. All right. And with that, we've got the following. Check this out.
Thank you very much. It's good to have you with us today. We all saw what happened in the video of that room when he was physically taken out, and you heard just now his response, and I understand you had a personal conversation with him as well. So what do you want to say about all of this?
You know, what I would say is we were conducting a press conference to update everyone on the enforcement actions that are ongoing to bring peace to the city of Los Angeles. And this man burst into the room, started lunging towards the podium, interrupting me and elevating his voice, and was stopped, did not identify himself, and was removed from the room. So as soon as he identified himself, appropriate actions were taken. But I would say that, I had a conversation with the senator after this. We sat down for 10 to 15 minutes and talked about the fact that nobody knew who he was. He didn't say who he was, that until he was already had been lunging forward and people were trying to detain him for quite a period of time. And that this, we're leaders, we're public servants. And if he had requested a meeting, I would have loved to have sat down and had a conversation with him. That coming into a press conference like this is political theater. It's wrong, and it does a disservice to this country and the people who live here. So we sat down, had a conversation. We probably disagree on 90% of the topics, but we agreed to exchange phone numbers. We'll continue to talk and share information. And I think that's the way it should be in this country. I wish he would have acted that way in the beginning instead of creating a scene like this.
All right. So that's Kristi Noem's side of it. Okay. That's Kristi Noem. Oh yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, between her and Pam Bondi, I don't know which one wants to be on Fox News more. It's ridiculous with these two women. Anyway, so that's Kristi Noem's side of it. Now, not to be outdone, Senator Padilla did make a statement. Okay, and you know what? I always try to give both sides of everything. So you know what? We'll listen to some of this. I mean, I'm not going to play the whole 2-minute clip, but we'll listen to some of this. So Alex Padilla gets to give his version of what he thought was going on. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, check this out.
Senator Alex Padilla. You guys have some questions. I'm going to read a brief statement. I will not be taking questions, but allow me to read my statement. I'm here in Los Angeles today, and I was here in the federal building, in the conference room, awaiting a scheduled briefing from federal officials as part of my responsibility as a senator to provide oversight and accountability. While I was waiting for the briefing with General Guillot, I learned that Secretary Noem was having a press conference a couple of doors down the hall. Since the beginning of the year, but especially over the course of recent weeks, several of my colleagues have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information in response to our inquiries. And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest and to stand up for their First Amendment rights, for our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point, I had a question. And so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question? If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country. Senator Alex.
You can only imagine what they're doing to the farmers, the cooks. Oh my Lord. My apologies. I said I wasn't going to play the whole thing, but I got sucked in, and that's just, somebody give that man an Academy Award. Please, someone give that man an Academy Award. For the love of God. That's just. Now, I asked a question. Oh, now wait a minute. Normally, all right, from Dan Bongino, with regard to the incident in LA this afternoon, the senator in question was not wearing a security pin and he physically resisted law enforcement when confronted. Our FBI personnel acted with complete appropriateness while assisting Secret Service, and we are grateful for their professionalism and their service. Okay, let's just call this what it is. All right. Oh, yes. And the Razzie goes to Senator Padilla. Okay, this is a stunt. And yes, I'm an old political observer. I appreciate a good political stunt as much as does anybody else. Okay? But dude, give me a break. And by the way, he makes the statement, I was there, getting a briefing on something, things that were going on, yada, yada, yada. Okay? All right? Okay. Well, Laura Loomer brought up a really good point that I think ought to be considered, and it's this. How did you get out to California so fast? Because you were in LA the night before playing in the congressional baseball game. Could it be, my friends, that Alex Padilla set this whole thing up? Okay, one more perspective on what actually went down between Alex Padilla and Kristi Noem. Here's a reporter. Do me a favor, folks. Check this out.
Westwood now in Los Angeles after this news conference. And I got to tell you, it was a bit of a surprise to everyone in there. You see this individual approaching emerge.
Now, keep in mind, this guy works for the local CBS affiliate out in LA. Okay? So we're not talking about a right-wing Republican here. Check this out.
From the press corps, taking steps toward the DHS secretary while she's giving her opening remarks and interrupting her. And I think it took a while for it to register to me that this was actually Senator Alex Padilla. He did not identify himself initially. While he was being dragged out of the room, he did say, I'm a U.S. Senator. My name is Alex Padilla. And at that point, he was forcibly removed from the room, brought out into the hallway, put down onto the ground face first, and handcuffed. Now, that video also exists as well, but none of the media got that video. That was only Alex Padilla's aides, Senator Padilla's aides. And they came outside and delivered that video to the media after the whole incident went down. Now, we talked with the secretary. She said she didn't recognize the senator and she doesn't know him, but she did have a conversation with him afterwards, and it was a good conversation. They exchanged phone numbers. Padilla said that he had had a lot of questions for DHS and he wasn't getting answers. He was in the building for a different reason, and he decided that this would be a good time to come down and ask his question. Why he chose that exact moment to ask the question is unclear, because he would not answer any questions outside of the federal building. I'm outside.
Oh, there you go. Uh-huh. That's great. That's great. George Clooney will be playing him in the upcoming biopic. Oh my God. So yeah, but give the Democrats credit. Never do they let a crisis go to waste, and never do they let a good old-fashioned self-generated controversy go to waste. I take you to the floor of the United States Senate on the same day this went down. Okay? Same day this went down. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, a grill master in his own right. Okay? Only man I know put cheese on raw hamburger on a grill. Okay? Went to the floor of the Senate and said the following.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I just saw something that sickened my stomach. The manhandling of a United States senator. We need immediate answers to what the hell went on. I yield the floor.
Now, okay, I don't golf, but I'm going to tee up on this one, okay? I'm going to tee off on this one. Hey, Chuck, you need answers to what's going on? Really? Are you, by chance, the same Chuck Schumer that back in the day did something similar here? Really? Are you the same Chuck Schumer? You want answers on this? You wouldn't be the same Chuck Schumer who went out, back in the day and maybe did the following. Could it be maybe that you're this same Chuck Schumer?
Taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Chuck, you know exactly what's going on here. Your boy went out to California. And this is a good point. He was in a federal building. He would have had to have had that Senate pin on to just get in the federal building. He took it off. Your boy Padilla went out to California, made a scene. You and your Senate Democrats took advantage of it. So please don't sit here and play the innocent, okay? I don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. We are living in a world that is right on the edge of danger. And I don't mean just the constant danger we all live under. I'm talking about the threat of world war, okay? If it's not going to break out in Ukraine, it's going to break out in the Middle East, and we're right on the edge of it. And what are you and your Democrats trying to do? You're trying to figure out how to engage in a political stunt. We need serious people right now, and you're not one of them, Chuck. You're not one of them. None of your Senate Democrats are one of them. None of the House Democrats are one of them. You people need to just go away and shut up. You spent more time trying to figure out how to milk a political stunt than you are trying to figure out how to help the country get through one of the most dangerous periods in which it's in. And not only that, you and your fellow Democrats are out there stirring it up and making the tensions even worse. On behalf of so many people, Senator Schumer, shut up. Shut up and sit down. No one wants to hear from you. Go away. Please. If you're not going to be part of the solution, then for the love of God, don't be part of the problem. Sorry. I had to get that out of my system. Just, ugh. All right. Tell you what. It's about 12:40 and you guys got things to do and so do I. Let's bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys for being here this morning. Every time I come here to do Front Porch Brunch, it's a load of fun. But you guys are absolutely, this morning has been just an absolute blast. The memes, the comments, the energy, you guys are amazing. And I love you. I've said before and I'll say it again, you guys are the best audience on the internet. So we'll be back next week. more live streams, hopefully some videos. Please, Brian, for the love of God, do some videos. And also remember, on Thursday, we've got an interview with a good buddy of the channel, author Chad Manley. He's got a new book that's coming out, and he sent me a copy. I'm going to try and peruse it this weekend, but check it out with us. We'll be here Thursday doing an interview with him, so I'll get you some information out about that. In the meanwhile, you guys have a great weekend, and please do me 2 favors this weekend above all else, okay? And I'm serious about this. Number 1, pray for our country, our president, our leaders, and also pray for each other. That's the first thing. The second thing is, above all else, stay safe out there, okay? Stay safe. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. And remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys very much. Stay safe. Pray for each other. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.